They called him the Eagle of Ulster, born in the misty hills of O'Neill around 1550, where the wind carried his first cry across rocky ridges that would one day answer to his command. From the moment he could walk, young Hugh O'Neill lived between two worlds. In the Gaelic stronghold of the MacDonnells, he learned the ancient rites of clan hospitality, where every knot in a woven token and every phrase of a welcome held meaning. At the same time, he was taught to read scrolls and speak the courteous language of the English court, where manners and loyalty were bound by parchment seals. By the time he was 35 in 1585, Hugh strode into Dublin Castle and bowed before Queen Elizabeth's envoy. He accepted the title Earl of Tyrone, a gesture meant to bind him to the crown. Yet behind his respectful bow flew a deeper loyalty, one older than any English monarch, the Red Hand of O'Neill. This emblem, a blazing scarlet hand on white field, hung on his banner and in his heart. It told all who saw it that his true allegiance belonged to Ulster's people and its unwritten laws. Quietly, Hugh built hidden camps in forest clearings and mist-shrouded glades. There, under torchlight and starlight, his warriors drilled in silence. They learned to move like shadows, to strike like lightning and melt back into the fog before their enemy could mount a counterattack. These were men of the land, farmers at dawn, soldiers at dusk, bound by loyalty more powerful than any crown or commission. In October 1595, at Clontibret, his hidden warriors slipped from the trees and struck the marching English columns by surprise. Spears and musket fire erupted in chaos. The orderly ranks of the crown soldiers broke into confusion. When the smoke cleared, word of Hugh O'Neill's victory raced across Ireland, and the name Eagle of Ulster was born. 3 years later, on the banks of the River Blackwater, came his greatest triumph, the Battle of the Yellow Ford. English cavalry thundered in, banners snapping, drums rolling, but Gaelic archers and pikemen waited hidden in folds of land. Their arrows flew like scythes through dawn mist, spears braced like steel curtains. The English charge shattered so completely that survivors wrote home of it as one of the worst defeats ever suffered by Tudor forces in Ireland. Poets on both sides wrote of the Red Hand's vengeance, a phrase that recalled the ancient oath of a hand cut free to win a kingdom. Emboldened by victory, Hugh set his next trap at Glenmalure in 1598. He lured Henry Bagenal's men deep into a narrow valley where they could not easily form ranks. There, in swirling fog and thick bracken, he unleashed his hidden warriors. Contemporary ladders describe soldiers falling like wheat before the scythe. Tales spread of warriors emerging from mist, as if born from the land itself. But each victory drew harsher reprisals. English reinforcements poured in. Villages were burned to the ground. Crops were salted. Starvation stalked Ulster like a second plague. After nearly 10 years of war, both sides were depleted. In 1603, at the ruined Abbey of Mellifont, Hugh agreed to terms that allowed his people to rebuild under his own laws. The Treaty of Mellifont granted him pardon and kept his forces intact, but only so long as both sides honoured it. His power rested on two pillars: his Gaelic status as chief of the O'Neill name from 1595 to 1616, and his English title as Earl of Tyrone until Parliament declared it void in 1614. In 1607, as rumours of arrest and betrayal swirled, Hugh faced a brutal choice. To stay was to risk capture and execution, To go was to abandon the land he loved. On 14th September, under cover of thick fog at Rathmullen, on the wide inlet of Lough Swilly, he and 90 loyal followers slipped onto a small longboat. No trumpets heralded their departure, only the soft splash of oars and the glow of a single lantern guiding them into darkness. In exile, Hugh wrote by candlelight, quill scratching Gaelic letters on parchment. His farewell begged Spain for aid and mourned Ulster's fate. He spent his last years in Rome, walking its silent halls and speaking to popes who could spare no armies. On the 20th of July 1616, the Eagle of Ulster died far from the hills he had ruled. His body rests at San Pietro in Montorio, beneath marble arches that know nothing of mist or battle. Back in Ulster, though, his presence lingers like dawn fog. Local farmers still whisper of ghostly horns echoing off the mountains at moonless night. They swear they see phantom riders bleeding through the mist on Slieve Gullion. And sometimes, at sunrise, a lone white stag appears on a grassy knoll where no deer should roam, a living echo of a hand cut free to claim a kingdom. This was Hugh O'Neill, never king of all Ireland, yet the last great Gaelic chieftain whose life and legend bridge two worlds. His story reminds us how quickly power can slip away like fog through fingers, and how legends form where history fades into mist. If this tale in the mist still stirs your spirit, subscribe and tell us in the comments which misty legend we should uncover next.